Washington, Beyonce Knowles, Ellen DeGeneres. Do you want me to keep going?
I don't want anybody's money. No one tells on Diddy. Just the same way nobody tells on Denzel Washington.
There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong.
Denzel always told me we'd be at the parties. He said, you leave 30 minutes for the devil get there.
Denzel Washington, a Hollywood legend, is known for his calm demeanor and undeniable talent. But when it comes to dealing with Diddy's infamous parties, it's rumored that Denzel couldn't hold back.
Denzel Washington, Beyonce Knowles, Ellen DeGeneres. Do you want me to keep going?
I don't want anybody's money.
Allegedly, he stormed out of one of Diddy's notorious gatherings, calling out the music mogul for his shocking behavior. And it turns out that's not the only time Denzel had enough of the darkness surrounding Diddy.
Denzel always told me we'd be at the parties. He said, you leave 30 minutes for the devil get there.
How you doing, Denzel? How you doing tonight, man? Looking good, Denzel. Looking good. Looking good, man. Looking good.
But what exactly went down that night? And who else knows the secrets of Diddy's underground world? Allie Carter, one of Diddy's most outspoken accusers, claims to have seen things that no one else will dare reveal. She's exposed shocking connections between Diddy, Jay-Z, and the hidden tunnels that link Hollywood to unimaginable secrets.
People build these tunnels. There's a lot. Elite celebrities, they go down there for parties underneath the Getty.
As more victims and insiders come forward, the truth about these alleged secret parties and the people involved starts to unravel. But will these explosive secrets finally bring Diddy's empire crumbling down? And why did Denzel Washington choose to stand up to Diddy when so many stay silent? Allie Carter has been one of the loudest voices exposing the alleged dark side of Diddy's life. She doesn't just accuse him of inappropriate behavior, but claims he's part of a broader web involving some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Carter, who has openly discussed being a victim of Diddy, recounts horrifying experiences at Diddy's parties, where she says guests were encouraged to partake in shocking acts. What's even worse is that Denzel Washington was allegedly part of it as well, or at least that's what Allie Carter claims.
Denzel Washington, Beyonce Knowles, Ellen DeGeneres. Do you want me to keep going?
I don't want anybody's money.
You see, it's no secret that Sean Diddy Combs has built a reputation for throwing the most extravagant, controversial parties in Hollywood. His lavish bashes in the Hamptons, Los Angeles, and Miami Beach have become the stuff of legend, with some of them descending into the kind of debauchery that would make anyone uncomfortable. But apparently, Denzel Washington had seen enough at one of these parties in the early 2000s, when he and his wife Pauletta were invited as guests. According to Us Weekly, a source revealed that the Oscar-winning actor wasn't impressed with what was unfolding as the night dragged on. In fact, near dawn, things took a sharp turn. Denzel reportedly saw something that crossed the line, and he wasn't having it. As the story goes, Denzel confronted Diddy, yelling, "You don't respect anyone," before he and Pauletta stormed out. The details of what exactly happened that night remain vague, but the incident has added fuel to the idea that Denzel Washington is not someone Diddy, or anyone in Hollywood for that matter, would want to cross. The party in question took place in 2003, and it was held at one of Diddy's luxurious mansions, though it's unclear if it was in the Hamptons, Los Angeles, or Miami Beach. The details of these parties are notorious, often described as hedonistic freak-offs, where the host's pleasure took precedence. It was an atmosphere designed to cater to Hollywood's elite, but it wasn't for everyone.
We here to try to raise money for these, mosquito bed nets. So if you don't understand, just imagine living in Africa and your little infant child.
Denzel Washington, a man who often speaks about his deep faith, wasn't amused by what he witnessed. According to insiders, as the night grew later, things got increasingly wild, and Denzel's discomfort grew. By the time dawn approached, he had seen enough. It was then that Denzel confronted Diddy, calling him out for his lack of respect and storming out of the gathering with his wife.
How you doing, Denzel? How you doing tonight, man? Looking good, Denzel. Looking good. Looking good, man.
While many in Hollywood would turn a blind eye to what was going on at these parties, Denzel wasn't willing to compromise his values. His actions that night sent a clear message to Diddy and to anyone else paying attention. Denzel Washington wouldn't be involved in Hollywood's darker side. Denzel Washington has always been vocal about the importance of leaving parties early, famously saying, "You leave before the devil shows up."
Denzel always told me we'd be at the parties. He said, you leave 30 minutes for the devil get there.
Anyway, Ally Carter did not just call out Denzel. She even suggests that Diddy's connections to stars like Jay-Z go deeper than anyone suspects, hinting at a network of tunnels under places like the Playboy Mansion. These tunnels, according to Carter, weren't just passages, but were allegedly used for some of the most disturbing encounters imaginable.
People built these tunnels. There's a lot of elite celebrities. They go down there for parties underneath the Getty.
Ally Carter isn't alone in these claims. Reports over the years have hinted at a series of secret passageways and tunnels beneath Hollywood's elite neighborhoods, connecting everything from celebrity mansions to exclusive clubs. For context, in the mid-2010s, some rumors were making rounds on the corners of the Grapevine that Diddy had underground tunnels that led to and from the Playboy Mansion. The rumors began when Diddy purchased a mansion valued at $40 million in 2014 in the same neighborhood as the Playboy Mansion. According to unconfirmed sources, the tunnels were made so that Diddy could move effortlessly to the mansion without figuring out how to escape the prying eyes of the paparazzi. However, it all remained a rumor as no one had actually come forward to confirm seeing or using the purported tunnels. You see, Playboy had a strict policy when it came to mansion invites. Rob Lowe was among the guests and revealed that he wasn't allowed to bring any friends with him. Luke Wilson learned all about this hard way. Luke decided to sneak in a friend at the mansion and played it off that it was his brother Owen. Once the mansion security realized it wasn't, Wilson was kicked out of the mansion and temporarily banned. Wilson recalls, "I got DNA ed from the Playboy Mansion in Los Angeles. That means do not admit. That's their special word. I tried to get a friend in and I'd shown up and they said, 'Who are you with?' And I'm like, 'I'm with my brother Owen.' And they're like, 'We need to see him.' It was actually my friend Eckelman, who doesn't look anything like Owen. I was not allowed to go there for a year and a half. I had to make kind of a tearful phone call to Mary, the woman who kind of runs the operation. I said, 'Mary, what I did was stupid. It was wrong. Hugh Hefner, been so generous to me.' I actually did, I think, cry on the telephone. The late Hugh Hefner was very selective with who he invited the parties, and as it turns out, he also extended himself for certain A-list celebrities. It is an urban legend that in the 70s, Playboy created tunnels to sneak A-listers into the mansion. According to the Playboy website, the tunnel did exist, and there are blueprints showing the tunnels and where they lead to. Playboy writes, "So, according to this blueprint, tunnels were built to the homes of Mr. J. Nicholson, Mr. W. Beatty, Mr. K. Douglas, and Mr. J. Can." We'll go ahead and assume they're talking about Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, Kirk Douglas, and James Can, all of whom lived near the Playboy Mansion during the late 1970s and early 1980s. There are no dates on the architectural schematics, but the dates on the Polaroids were from 1977. It is said that Playboy kept very quiet about the tunnels and didn't intend on speaking further about it. In any case, some of the people who managed to witness what happened in the mansion were able to describe what Hugh termed as pig nights. According to his employees, the editor-in-chief held the bash on Thursday nights. However, they would look the other way while Hefner did all sorts of crazy stuff.
Guys on the mansion list were expected to bring women. They were ranked. There was a hierarchy of whether you were a 10 or an 8 or a 6.
A source told TMZ that Hefner would sit at the head of the table while the models hung out with various film and TV stars. They also explained that the girls would get medical checks before any S activities took place.
The doctor would inspect them for anything that would be detrimental to any of his friends. It was called Pig Night, but we as butlers were always told, do not call them pigs. This was Hefner's term for them.
Life inside the Playboy Mansion was far from glamorous, as former Playboy models and girlfriends of Hugh Hefner have revealed. What often started as an exclusive dinner party would quickly turn into chaotic gatherings, complete with unusual rituals and rules that made life in the mansion more confining than it appeared. Over the years, several former Playmates have shared experiences that paint a much darker picture of life in the mansion. Holly Madison, one of Hefner's former girlfriends, opened up about feeling trapped, saying that the mansion's metal gate, known for keeping the public out, felt more like it was meant to keep her locked in. In her book, Down the Rabbit Hole, she described Hefner's private gatherings as anything but intimate or romantic, with everyone following his rules and dressing in matching outfits. Holly described her interactions with him as devoid of connection, recalling little more than feeling a heavy weight on her. Jealousy and rivalry among the girlfriends were also common, and this intensified once Holly became Hefner's #1 girlfriend. According to her, this status caused a shift, with other playmates who previously mocked her suddenly acting friendly and seeking her favor. She wasn't alone in feeling the pressure to fit in or keep up with unrealistic standards. Kendra Wilkinson, another former girlfriend, discussed her struggle with the experience as well. She was 18 when she first met Hefner, who was 78 at the time, and described feeling like her interactions with him were a job she had to clock in and out of. She mentioned needing alcohol or marijuana to get through nights at the mansion, and even recalled a time when Hefner suggested she lose weight, making her feel even more insecure in an environment focused heavily on appearance. Playmate Isabella St. James shared similarly uncomfortable memories, recalling a weekly ritual where she and other girls had to visit Hefner's room to receive their allowance. She described waiting as he picked up after his dogs, a process that often included him using the moment to criticize the women for not meeting his expectations, whether it was regarding their social harmony or participation in private gatherings. Missing a going out night, for example, could mean a deduction from their allowance, which he used as a form of control. Carla Howe, another former Playboy model, added that they had a strict 9 p.m. curfew and weren't allowed to invite friends over, isolating them from life outside the mansion.
But everyone, it's their dream to go to that type of party in their lifetime, so it's amazing that I've actually got to experience and live that to the full.
She told The Sun the house was more like an old people's home than a haven for wild S. The British beauty said, "He almost never leaves home and refuses to change anything in the mansion, so the whole place feels like it's stuck in the 1980s. There is no velvet or gold, and all the carpets are brown and curling." And Carla's twin, Melissa, added that there were strict rules all the women have to follow while they're living in the 22-bedroom mansion. She said, "If you do something wrong, you'll get an email. There's a strict code of conduct. There are even rules about Instagram and Twitter. You've got to show everything in a good light, and if you're drunk in a picture, you'll be in trouble." While the Playboy bunnies could enjoy nights on the town at Hefner's expense, the live-in girlfriends didn't have much freedom, Kendra claimed. She said she had to be at home every night by 9 p.m., which made her feel trapped. "Nights were hard because while my Playmate friends got to go out and party, I would have to be home by 9 p.m., Kendra said. "I'd get a text message from a girl that read, 'Having so much fun in Vegas. Wish you were here, partying with all these football players,' and that was devastating. I felt so trapped and angry when I was missing out on something good." Isabella also described dirty carpets in the mansion and the poor state of the girls' rooms in her book. She wrote, "Although we all did our best to decorate our rooms and make them homey, the mattresses on our beds were disgusting, old, worn, and stained. The sheets were past their best, too. The conditions that these ladies went through while at the mansion relate a lot to what Cassie Ventura described in her lawsuit."
Cassie says there was a pattern of control, drug use, and forced encounters.
Now, if such a man could allegedly perpetrate all these crimes and still disguise them, it is possible that there are actual tunnels leading from Diddy's house to the mansion and back. Mind you, rumors of the underground tunnels made rounds in the 1970s and 80s, but were only recently confirmed.
4 actors had secret underground tunnels directly from their homes to the Playboy mansion.
So Diddy's tunnels could exist, but it would be a matter of time before concrete evidence is brought forward. Meanwhile, many fans suspect these underground tunnels served other purposes than just connecting to the Playboy mansion. They theorize that these tunnels could have other secret passages leading to bunkers where Diddy's freak-off parties take place. The music is famous for his wild parties, which many of his industry colleagues, including former mentees and associates, have spoken about at length. 50 Cent once insinuated that these parties were gay parties, and though he didn't have anything against gays, it was his kind of party, so he would rather not go. He told his teeming fans at his musical concert he had stopped attending Puffy's parties.
"That's why I don't be going to them Puffy parties. They can hug you from the front and the back at the same time."
Usher also spoke about Diddy's parties when he sat in an interview with Howard Stern on the Sirius XM network. He spoke of what he saw at those parties and wondered to himself if he could indulge as a then 13-year-old.
Sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn some
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Diddy's former mentee and bad boy signee Mark Curry also once opened up about a Diddy party that he attended where he saw half models popping pills into the mouths of the patrons. He then described how specific bottles believed to contain spiked alcohol were marked and reserved for certain people, while the average person was allowed to consume regular alcohol. Cassie Ventura told of parties where she was forced to sleep with several male streetwalkers. Then there was Rodney Jones Jr., who spoke about parties where young ladies were coerced into S-acts with patrons. Now, all these people never mentioned where these parties took place, leaving room for speculation. But given the exclusivity of the intricate tunnels, it isn't far-fetched to assume that parties of that caliber would take place there. Interestingly, some sections of fans actually believe that the tunnels were the main locations for these freak-offs. They believe this is why it is becoming difficult for the feds to get evidence for such parties. In the fans' estimation, Diddy might have intricately designed the tunnels himself to ensure he had several escape routes if the feds got a tip and were closing in on them. In any case, with all that Diddy has been accused of, fans have been casting doubt on Denzel's alleged involvement in all this. Denzel Washington is not just a respected actor, he's also a devout Christian who openly discusses the importance of faith in his life. Over the years, Denzel has spoken at length about how his success is due to his commitment to God. In a 2017 interview with CBN about his film, Roman J. Israel, Esquire, the two-time Academy Award winner, shared profound insights into his spiritual beliefs and the philosophies that guided his life, both on and off the silver screen. Denzel, whose transformative performance in the 2017 film garnered critical acclaim, spoke passionately about the intersection of his Christian faith and his role as an actor. For him, faith wasn't merely a passive belief, it demanded action and activism. In his view, everyone possessed unique gifts, and it was the duty of individuals to utilize these gifts to make a positive impact in the world.
Well, you have to use your gifts. You know, faith without works is nothing.
Denzel emphasized during the interview, highlighting the significance of pairing belief with action. However, he also acknowledged that not everyone needed to be an activist in the traditional sense. Denzel recalled a prophetic message from a woman who foresaw his global influence, not as a preacher in the pulpit, but as a speaker through his work. This revelation inspired him to use his platform in the entertainment industry to spread messages of hope, love, and faith. When Denzel questioned his pastor about his purpose, wondering if he was meant to become a preacher, the response was profound: "You already have a pulpit." These words served as a powerful reminder that Denzel's influence and reach extended far beyond the confines of a church, permeating the hearts and minds of audiences worldwide. With humility and determination, he embraced his role as an agent for good, recognizing the profound impact storytelling could have on shaping perspectives and inspiring change. In the film, Denzel subtly nodded to scripture through the character's name, underlining the depth of his understanding of faith and its relevance in the contemporary world.
This is funny just to think. 3 Mondays ago, I didn't know either one of you.
Roman, I'm concerned about
It's okay. George and I just need to...
One of the central themes of the film was justice. Throughout the entire course of the story, Roman questions his own personal view of justice. The film delves into the profound disparity between man's view of justice and God's view of justice, highlighting that the two aren't always in alignment. God's justice, as depicted in the Bible, is always right and good, taking everything into account and cannot be swayed or altered by human biases or prejudices. This powerful exploration of justice added layers of complexity to the character of Roman J. Israel, prompting viewers to contemplate the profound question of what constitutes true justice and righteousness in a flawed world. Roman J. Israel, Esquire was not merely a cinematic masterpiece. It was a testament to Denzel Washington's dedication to using his craft as a force for positive transformation. As audiences immersed themselves in the film's narrative, they were confronted with profound questions about faith, morality, and the pursuit of justice. Denzel Washington's vision of God and the philosophies he abided by were intricately woven into the fabric of the movie, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of viewers and reaffirming the enduring power of faith in the face of life's complexities. In any case, Washington has also opened up about his profound connection with spirituality and how it guided him away from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood parties. Denzel's story serves as a testament to the transformative power of faith and the unwavering influence of a spiritual encounter. Denzel reminisced about his upbringing, where his father, a devout man of God, instilled in him the values of faith and righteousness. This foundation would later play a pivotal role in shaping Denzel's character, especially during his early years in the entertainment industry. His spiritual awakening came in the early 1980s when he found himself at a crossroads, torn between the allure of Hollywood revelry and the call of his faith. It was a struggle familiar to many, a battle between the material world and the spiritual realm. Denzel candidly shared that he had several encounters with faith, each time drawing him closer to the divine. One significant turning point occurred when he attended a church service with renowned director Robert Townsend. Denzel decided to surrender himself completely, stepping forward to the altar in a moment of profound vulnerability. In the prayer room, he experienced something inexplicable, a sensation of ascending into the air, his cheeks filled with an overwhelming presence. It was a supernatural experience, leaving a mark on his soul.
You know, this time I'm just going to go down there and give it up and see what happens. And I went in the prayer room and gave it up and let go and experienced something I've never experienced in my life.
Despite this powerful encounter, Denzel confessed that he wasn't immediately prepared to fully embrace this newfound spirituality. He acknowledged the struggle within himself, attempting to reconcile his spiritual awakening with the temptations of the entertainment industry. Yet the memory of that transformative moment stayed with him, serving as a grounding force even in the face of immense fame and worldly distractions. Denzel's spiritual journey was not without its challenges. He candidly admitted to succumbing to the allure of materialism and indulging in what he refers to as spiritual muggings. However, in an industry where morality is often sacrificed for success, Denzel has remained true to his beliefs, and his faith has been felt by those surrounding him. For instance, in 2022, after the infamous Oscars slap, Denzel apparently went behind the scene to try and resolve the issue. Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, "At your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you," Smith said during the Oscars while accepting his award. A few days later, Washington attended Bishop T.D. Jakes' Leadership Summit on for a discussion about his career and faith when Jakes asked him about what happened between Smith and Rock at the Oscars. Well, there's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. The devil goes, "Oh no, leave him alone. He's my favorite." Conversely, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because he's trying to do something right. And for whatever reason, the devil got a hold of that circumstance that night, Washington told Jakes on stage. He then added, "Fortunately, there were people there, not just me, but others. Tyler Perry came immediately right over there with me, said some prayers. I don't want to say what we talked about, but for the grace of God, go any of us. Who are we to condemn? I don't know all the ins and outs of the situation, but I know the only solution was prayer, the way I see it." All in all, Denzel Washington stands as a paragon of humility and gentlemanship, weaving a remarkable narrative of success and modesty. Despite his numerous accolades, including 2 Academy Awards, he remains grounded and often expresses gratitude for the opportunities he has been given. Now, the question remains, will more insiders come forward, or will the Hollywood elite continue to protect their secrets at all costs? Denzel Washington's decision to speak up, even subtly, may pave the way for others to finally confront the darkness lurking in plain sight. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.